Peace, salutations. My name is Michael J. Turner. I am the Southwest Shaman. I am the Earl of Arizona. You are shining with the Arizona sun. I just want to take this time to tell my story a little bit, man. Um, Starting at the top of the list, I am a multi-racial, interdimensional, electromagnetic, infinite being of light. But as far as in the 3D, my father, who I lost when I was 19 years old, a couple months after I was shot in the face, the bullet went into here and stayed in my neck right here, and then it was removed a couple months later. My father was black, white, Bolivian, Native American, Egyptian, and black, white, Native American, Bolivian, Egyptian. Yeah. And then my mother is Croatian and English. Now, I need to do my ancestry.com because it's all about knowledge itself, right? But in the end, besides those things, those three-dimensional things from this realm, I am a being of light. So, I was fortunate enough to have both parents growing up, and they gave me a childhood that I needed, the love I needed. Not to say that there wasn't fear there that was instilled in me due to them having their own human experience. Moving forward, um, I'll just say, my first memory is actually my father pushing my mother through a set of closet doors, and apparently he took me somewhere, and whatever ensued. What's interesting that I found recently, most recently, is that I've been able to escape these generational curses now. I'm starting to. But even without his presence, him dying when I was age 19 and I'm 39 now, I've gained a number of his attributes regardless because it's in my DNA. Alright. Next, I want to kind of skip to my experience in going from middle school to high school was affected by pornography addiction and a lack of understanding that could have been provided by my father, which only indicates that he had a lack of understanding himself about the nature of sexual energy and power behind it and the life force that it actually represents and the health benefits, etc., of purifying that and maintaining that, you know, and not having the weeds growing within the subconscious mind. Um, so my relationships were affected, my standards were affected, and I actually lost my virginity to a prostitute when I was 19 years old. Okay, now, when I finally did actually establish a regular relationship, I was, of course, codependent and I didn't know how to behave within it. But what happened to me eventually, through the course of these things, and I've always been artistic, and I've made music since high school, and I've been an artist of the paint, of the paintbrush and the pencil, etc. Um, I was drinking heavy after my dad died. After high school, drinking heavy. I became essentially an alcoholic. I had a DUI. After that, I started to seek other forms of self-medication. Eventually, landed on opiates after climbing the scale of all the pills. I eventually got to heroin and cocaine, but there wasn't any good cocaine necessarily, or it wasn't working for me. So I started smoking meth, and by age 26, I ended up in prison. You know, and during that process of my early 20s, I did go to school. I got an associate's degree, and I did hold down a job for 6 years, 5 or 6 years ago. Um, so my prison experience was interesting because I didn't see color or racial divides until my 5-year stint in ADOC, ADOC, Arizona Department of Corrections. In there, the more trauma, it was compounded. The things I witnessed, the violence I witnessed, the fact that you have to maintain this bravado and continue and like get along in a certain way. It could have been a lot more constructive for me, but not to say that it wasn't constructive for me and it didn't build things within me, but there was one way I knew how to fit in, one thing I knew how to make myself feel better, one thing I knew how to do that, like, I was part of that for that extent of time. So what I knew, which made me part of that, was the drug culture and the drug thing. So in there, I was essentially the same as I was on the street, chasing dope every day. And if you don't think it's possible, hit me up in the comments and I'll make videos about that specifically. Getting out of prison, things weren't necessarily resolved, So what ensued was more stuff, more street hedonism, as I like to refer to it as. I've spent probably a total sum of about 2 years in rehab, different forms, inpatient, outpatient. Um, done a lot of AA and all that stuff too. So my experience was I ended up in a relationship for 5 years. I didn't have self-worth beyond the continuation of me escaping this three-dimensional reality in the wrong way. Um, I was trapped. I found myself trapped for a long time. There was love there, but see, the whole thing about it is that I couldn't walk away. I didn't have enough value, inner tuition, to value myself enough to do what was necessary. What any person would have done, I suppose. Um, so most recently, I had a victory, and I walked away from a relationship that wasn't healthy for me. Um, just to wrap things up, without going into too much detail about everything. Yes, I've dealt with all these things, kept a high vibration generally throughout the whole thing, because why not be happy no matter what? Why not have fun? Why not joke no matter what? But um, here I am. I've compiled a set of steps, strategies, techniques, and methods that I call Abstract Personal Development. I have another channel called Abstract Personal Development. You'll find it. And this is StereoFix 888. These are the things I do in my day-to-day as I go, as my life develops, as I'm growing a YouTube channel. Abstract Personal Development is those specific things and how basically it's the proof. I am the proof that they work because I use them myself and been through my own studies. So check me out over there and rock with me here on StereoFix 888, where I bring y'all the exercise, the health tips, the landscape design, the manifestations I'm making. I bring you I also bring you my artwork and my music right here on StereoFix 888. That's what this is about, and I tell you my story, my personal stories. And it's like I said, I'm not here to, like I say in my intros, I'm not here to save you. I can't save you. I'm here to share with you how I'm saving myself. Like and subscribe. Rock with your boy. Let the vibes talk. Let's take this walk and make magic. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to give you love, motivation, inspiration, declaration, restoration, transmutation, and alchemization information.